everyone, welcome to my first e-learning lesson on light reflection and refraction. I have taken small portion from this chapter. The objectives of these chapters are concept of light and its properties, types of sources of light, difference between rays and beam of light, reflection of light and terminology involved in case of reflection, laws of reflection, and types of reflections. As we all know that we can see things around us only in the presence of light. So what actually is light? Light is a form of energy which produces the sensation of sight. Some of the properties of light are: light travels from one point to another along a straight path. This property of light is known as rectilinear propagation of light. Light is an electromagnetic wave or radiant wave. Light does not require a material medium like solid, liquid, or gas for its propagation. It can travel through vacuum too. The best example of this is the light traveling from the sun to the earth across the space that has no material medium. The speed of light waves in vacuum is very high. It is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. The speed of light waves depend on the nature of the medium through which they pass. For all practical purposes, the speed of light in air is also taken as 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, which is the same as its speed in vacuum. The last properties of light is light has dual nature. That is, it exhibits wave nature as well as particle properties. Now let us discuss about types of sources of light. The first one is point source. These are the sources that are too small in size. For example, a ray coming out from the pinhole. Another is finite source. These are the sources that have certain height or dimension. For example, light coming out from torchlight burning candle. Here in the diagram given, candle has certain height and is regarded as a finite source. Now let us discuss about the difference between rays of light and beam of light. The straight line path along which a light wave travels is called a wave light, and it is represented by a straight line carrying an arrow. And a bundle of rays is called a beam of light. So beam of light can be convergent, divergent, or it may be parallel beam of light. Next, let us discuss about reflection of light and some of the important terms involved in case of reflection. So the bouncing back of light to the same medium after striking a polished surface like plane mirror is called reflection of light. Important terms involved in the case of reflection are incident ray, point of incidence, reflected ray, normal at the point of incidence, angle of incidence, angle of reflection, plane of reflection. Now, let us see one by one. What do you mean by incident ray? The ray that strikes the surface. This is called incident ray. Point of incidence. Here it is point of incidence. It is the point at which the incident ray strikes the surface. Next is reflected ray. The ray that bounces back on striking the surface is the reflected rays. Next is normal. It is a line drawn perpendicular to the surface at the point of incidence. For example, if we draw a line perpendicular to any point of the reflector other than this point of incidence, then it is not normal at the point of incidence. So the normal should be at the point of reflector here. Next is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is the angle between the incident ray and normal. It is denoted by angle I. Then angle of reflection. So angle of reflection is the angle between the reflected ray and the normal. It is denoted by angle R. Plane of reflection. The plane where the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal lies. This is what you call plane of reflection. After having the idea of all the important terms of reflection, let us discuss about laws of reflection. There are certain sets of laws that are obeyed by all surfaces, whether it is regular surface or irregular surface, that show reflection. First law is the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. That is, angle I is equal to angle R. Second point is the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal to the reflecting surface at the point of incidence all lie on the same plane. Now, by knowing the laws of reflection of light, we can easily solve some of the numericals related with the laws of reflection. For example, here in the figure, let us suppose angle I is given as 30 degree and it is asked to find out the angle of reflection. So according to the first law of reflection, angle I equal to angle R. Therefore, angle R is also 30 degree. Another question is, normal is the line perpendicular to the reflector. That means the angle between reflector and the normal is 90 degree. If the angle between this reflector and the reflected ray is given as 60 degree and it is asked to find out angle I and angle R, then we can easily find out by subtracting angle 60 from 90 degree, which is equal to 30 degree. Therefore, angle I equal to angle R, which is equal to 30 degree. Another important point is what will happen if the ray of light is struck normally to the reflector. Then the reflected ray will also bounces back at the same path. Angle I and the angle R will be equal to 0. Next, let us discuss about types of reflection. Regular reflection, also known as the specular reflection, and second one is irregular reflection, also known as diffuse reflection. So the reflection occurs in a smooth surface like plane mirror is called regular reflection. For example, if we hold a plane mirror in front of us, we see the image of our face in it. This is because the entire light that falls on the surface is reflected in a definite direction. Such a reflection is called a regular reflection. The phenomenon due to which a parallel beam of light traveling through a certain medium on striking a smooth, highly polished surface such as a mirror bounces back from it as a parallel beam of light in some other direction is called regular reflection of light. Same is also given here in the figure. Regular reflection is useful in the formation of images. Next is irregular reflection or diffuse reflection. Reflection occurs in a rough surface like wall, asphalt, road, cardboard, etc. are called irregular reflection. Let us take an example. If we hold a cardboard in front of us, we will not be able to see our face in it. Why is it? This is because the entire light that falls on the surface is reflected in all directions irregularly. Here it is given in the figure also. The reflection occurs in the rough surface. So all these reflected in all directions irregularly, that means in a scattered manner. Such a reflection is called irregular reflection. The phenomenon due to which a parallel beam of light traveling through a certain medium on striking a rough surface such as cardboard gets reflected in various directions in the same medium is called irregular reflection of light. Now, whatever we see things around us, most of the things we see around us, this is because of the diffuse reflection or irregular reflection of light. So why there is irregularity in their surface? There are some tiny imperfection on the surface of the materials. So one of the very important points that we have to know is laws of reflections holds true both in regular as well as irregular reflection. Here I am giving you some assignment. Just try to solve it. Hope all of you can do these questions very easily. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let us meet again in my next video. Bye bye.